convention?
No, I don't think so. All right, so this next
last
speaker
panel.
has the distinction of being the very last speaker of this entire show. Laura Oberholtzer, Director of TV and Media Solutions for Ericsson, who's going to show us a user-defined sports ticker. Come on in, Laura.
Hi.
Hi.
Let me just grab my iPad here. Oh,
Grab your
super.
iPad. Come on
Thank
over.
you.
How are you?
Fine, it's nice to meet you.
Nice
Hi.
to meet you, too.
Hello, Laura.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good.
We've exchanged so many emails, and we only just now
We
meet.
just now met.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, tell us about Ericsson and RDK.
So Ericsson is a global leader in mobile networks, and we have a lot of experience in kind of the emerging market with mobile phones and people putting apps on mobile phones and what that does to your infrastructure. And so when we saw the RDK, we realized that this is an opportunity for another market of set-top boxes to kind of have that same evolutionary pivot point where you basically now can bring that same type of dynamic of people being able to develop applications and deliver them on the set-top box. But being the mobile provider, we wanted to actually show that there's synergy between the second screen and the first screen, which is your set-top box, and kind of take the applications that we've all grown to know and love on our iPads or iPhones or Android phones, and basically pull a piece of that off and show it onto the set-top box. And so that's what our demo is all about.
Okay.
So basically in our demo, we came up with a sports application. And we said, in this sports application, you can be sitting, watching television as we are on the two side screens. And maybe I want to keep track of the scores that are going on the other games that are happening across the network. And so I'll sit here and I'll select a few teams that I know and love, right? And now I look at my TV, and you can see on the TV, I've got the scores of those teams that I've selected popping up on the television. So I've used my second screen as a control source. I now have a pop-up. Oh, look, there's an event that's happened. I might be interested to see exactly what that was about. I don't necessarily want to change the channel on that event. Maybe what I really want to do is come here to my iPad and actually watch the snippet.
Oh no, we want to watch the fight from the Howlers game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, sadly, we had a little bit of content rights issues, so we had to pop in a video so those Howlers didn't give us
know
right.
how that works.
Yeah, they howled when we said, let us show your content. And so, but basically it gives you an idea of how you can pull that content. And through...
So you would so you pause the game, or you keep this one going, and you're watching the sports highlight on your other screen.
The sports highlight on my iPad, but what's really cool, and this is what really puts the RDK over the top and makes it so viable for everybody developing applications, is the ability to basically not only do it here on the second screen, but to interact with the first screen, so that if I wanted to, I could take my remote control, I could click that bar when it comes up, and I could switch over to another channel and watch the other game. Or I could actually bring up maybe a picture-in-picture experience with both the QAM and the IP type video playing on the same screen.
And so the application that you've built on the set-top, that's another HTML5 app?
Yes, it's HTML5 app, so it's very, very simple. It's cloud-based. I can make changes at will. I can have them show up, these changes show up immediately as my users sign on to my application. And so it makes it really easy to bring the second screen experience to the first screen.
That is great.
That's really great.
It's a good app.
Okay. All right.
How long did it take you guys to put this one together?
Well, we got a box about 3 weeks ago, and my developer, Steve Martin, is a really great guy. He has a lot of experience with set-top box development and HTML development. And as he said, I use no set-top box skills in the development of this demo. So he basically said I was able to use all the standard web type tools and web capabilities, and it was really more in line with developing a web-based application than developing a set-top box application. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we went from 0 to where we are today in 3 weeks.
That's amazing.
It's good to hear you say that, because I think that's something that a couple of our demos today have really underscored, is the ability to use just standard internet tools. And part of the reason we made those selections in the RDK, part of the reason that we picked the set of open source components we picked, is because we knew there would be a large developer community behind those tools. There isn't anything cable specific that you have to learn in order to build these things. A lot of it's just on an HTML5, and there is a very big community of HTML5 developers that can now leverage this platform.
So let me ask you this to start closing down this panel. So last year it was PowerPoint. This year is obviously a lot of momentum. I mean, kind of maybe drove it home even too hard about how service velocity is happening. What happens next? Does the service velocity shrink down to minutes, days and minutes, or where does it go? What do we do with RDK at next year's Imagine Park?
Well, I think what we'll see over the course of the next 12 months is more and more boxes that are supporting this, and more of the operator apps supporting this. You can see that a lot of the developers that worked on this panel are using the reference platform boxes. Obviously what we'd love to see is real set-top boxes, the boxes that operators are actually deploying, running the RDK and starting to add some of these really great applications into those operator environments, getting out live in front of customers. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we'll see over the course of the next 12 months is that scaling of the RDK platform. Yeah,
and so many apps. I mean, it's almost like for years, the question has been, should there be an app store for cable, or how do you do an app store for cable? And today we've seen, six different...
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of an open platform. One thing I do want to emphasize, too, it's so important to have 5 companies. Some of them you've maybe never even heard of or haven't really been in the space that much before. A lot of people kind of say, oh, it's Comcast's RDK. You got 2 Comcast guys up here, but you got 5 other companies. This is your RDK. We are working hard to make this into a community. We've got wikis in place now, we've got support, we've got testing environments for you. This is your RDK, this is the community's RDK, and we are incredibly gratified that within 1 year, it's gone from PowerPoint to product, right? Comcast has got this in hundreds of thousands of homes right now. By this time next year, I think you'll see a multitude of companies having it in millions of homes.
And
maybe not a multitude, but at least 3 or 4.
And all the X stuff we're hearing about, X1, X2, that's all on RDK?
That's all RDK.
Yeah, everything that Comcast has been showing with regards to our cloud platforms, the client platform that supports that is RDK across all of the boxes that we have, whether it's a hybrid gateway or an IP client box that's running the RDK.
How big do you want it to get, or does it not matter? When RDK is successful, what has happened?
I guess the success of it is that people embrace it and people use it. It really is a platform that was designed from the very beginning to improve the velocity with which we could deploy new boxes and put new services on those boxes. To the extent that this platform helps people achieve that, and I believe we're seeing some tangible demonstration that does happen.
And there's a revenue path for all the vendors who are developing this way?
That's up to them, right?
Yes is a good answer.
Yes.
Of course.
We assume the reason people are getting involved in this is because they think they can make money. I don't sit down and evaluate everybody's business model, but I would assume that that's the reason people want to do this stuff.
Laura, would you agree?
Absolutely. I think there's a real model when you've seen what's happened in app stores. Just for the wireless devices, you've got to believe that providing synergy with your home television set, you're going to just expand your market that much more.
Okay. All right. Well, have we beaten RDK to death?
I can't talk enough about it myself, Leslie.
I know that about you.
I'm like a train ride from Philadelphia. So.
Okay, well, thanks to all of you for sticking with us for so long. I mean, we are at the very end of the cable show, and thanks to you guys
for staying
coming
around.
back.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Vendors. The end.